Hello, everyone. I hope everyone's doing okay. We are back live at Starseeds and Soul Fractals, of course. And my name is Elvia, for those of you who are new here. And so today's topic of conversation is going to be all about social media and digital energetics. So, what can we really do to make sure that we have like a good energy hygiene online, first and foremost, and as well as just exploring the topic a little bit. Like, can these energies, all kinds of energies, transfer through social media? And does anonymity protect us really online for when it comes to, energy wise? Is that good energy protection? As well as maybe different energetics of different platforms and all kinds of related topics all about that. Okay, so we would definitely want to get first into this knowing that energy does in fact transfer through the internet. Energy can be felt through the internet, through social media, and through digital media. So even digital art, graphic design, and different, yes, like I said, different internet things and videos. So energy can definitely be felt and sent through these channels of social media and internet. And energy can also be charged into the posts. So this is where things get very interesting, right? Because we do have the power to charge our posts with certain energies. We can light encode our posts, we can light encode our content. And so we really are responsible for the energy that is within our own posts. And of course, there is that, factor of what other people are, sort of what other people's energies are putting in there in the comment sections and stuff. And the comment sections is indeed, it tends to be filled with all of these different energies from different people. And so that's obviously something that, you know, we are not necessarily always in that much of a charge of. So what kind of energies other people send our way or send into our comments? That's sort of a different thing altogether. But we are in charge of the sort of energetic container that we create, for example, in our own content itself. Okay, so that's a differentiation between there. And I do find that whenever I need to be more sensitive or more conscious of the kind of energies that I'm allowing into my energy field, then I'm going to be really aware of how much I look at the comment section of, say, a YouTube video, or how much I interact in certain, comment threads, or, for example, in different posts when there are those comment sections and such. So that's kind of one thing to consider. So if you so you want to be mindful of what kind of energies you are exposing yourself onto for when it comes to your social media consumption, because we are indeed not just dealing with content, we're dealing with people as well. And of course, because there are people using these social media platforms and internet and all that kind of stuff, we are going to have to be, mindful of that fact, and just remember that there are still these energies moving because there are people involved in using this. And I mean, that could lead on a whole another tangent about artificial intelligence, but I maybe come back to that later or discuss that in another video. But that's just sort of the first part of this video for when it comes to energy transferring through media and content, and just the internet in general. And the internet can really just be like a container of energy, just like our social media profiles are sort of like a container of our own energy, and they are sort of like a portal to our own world. And that's where kind of the anonymity aspect comes into play. So, are you protected from all energies, or are you going to be exposed to all energies when you are anonymous on the internet? Technically, there is a layer of protection that comes, like if you're not on the internet with your own face, there is a level of protection there, because um, then there isn't like this association with the face. But when we do post ourselves with our faces, we are generally more, say, open to certain energies, if that makes sense. But regardless of this, you are still the user of that account, and people can still sort of tune into your energy through that account itself, through a username and such. So there's still a link to you from there. So even when we're not doing this with our faces or with our real names, even if it's just a username, even if it's just a random picture of like a cloud or something, that's still there is still a link to you, because you are the one using it. You're the one who's directing the energy through that account, and you are also the one writing those comments, right? Like that, when you're writing those comments or when you're clicking a thumbs up or whatever, that is still using you are using your energy to do that, right? um, and then there is, of course, this aspect of, okay, so if we're not interacting, are we spending energy? Technically, yes, we are still spending some form of energy, even if we are not interacting with people in the internet or in the comment threads and whatnot. uh, we are spending energy in consuming. We are spending energy in looking at things, even just that sensory experience of seeing something on your screen. That, of course, it triggers something in your brain, and that is going to be in one way energetic interaction. But of course, the more we sort of invest our energy into certain things, the more it's going to impact us. So if we are really sort of spending a lot of time in, say, very emotionally intense social media, digital internet environments, of course, that's going to be more energy expense there, and it's going to be more of our energy used with that. And then for when it comes to inactive accounts, I find this to be one of the more fascinating side of this, because technically the account, like, it's still there, and there can be people following that inactive account. There can be that inactive account could be following others, so technically there could still be certain, like, sort of energetic threads there, but of course it isn't the same amount of energetic interaction as an active account is, right? So an active account is, of course, consistently, you know interacting and engaging with energies. And what I mean by active is just somebody who logs on to the account every now and then. Okay, so someone who's like inactive in their, for example, social media use, just doesn't even look at the site, like, ever. And of course, it's a whole different thing with when people delete their accounts, because that's when you're sort of permanently taking yourself off of it. So then of course, there's that other aspect. Perhaps you might be in someone's memory, but then there is that, you're, like, for the most part, when you delete an account, then you're sort of completely removing your energy from that platform. So that's something to consider. Uh, and so if we are in the situation where perhaps we want to take some of our energy back, then we can do something like a little bit of a purge in who we are following. So if there are, like, a lot of inactive accounts that we are following, and they haven't, like, posted in forever, there could still be, like, a minor energy leak there, because well, that account, like, we're still following that account even though they're not posting anything. And I mean, of course, like, follow your discernment. If that's, like, your good friend or something who you might connect with in the DMs or something, then, like, obviously, you don't need to like unfollow them or anything. But if it's somebody who you followed like a long time ago and they're just not posting anymore, and you find that and that might be leaking your energy, then you can do a little bit of a cleanup for when it comes to who you are following on the social media platforms. And I do that every now and then. I kind of go and see like who's posted, and and kind of sort of cut down on the amount of people that I'm following. And I mean, I usually do follow only people that like I actually want to follow, but of course this can always change in a way, because we might resonate with different kinds of energies again as we go and as we like live our lives, and that's just a part of life. Like we evolve, and sometimes we want to have different energies around us, right? um, so that's one thing to consider. Another good thing to consider here is social media breaks. Okay, so I always talk about social media breaks, I find, and the irony is that I post about it on social media. And I actually did create an article all about the spiritual benefits of social media breaks, and it is linked in the description of this video. So if you want to go and read it after we are done with this live stream, you can, and I would recommend you check it out, because I went in a little bit deeper into what kind of shifts I experienced with that personally. It tends to be really good for my mental clarity, especially because the social media and the internet tends to be a very sort of a mentally focused energetically, if that makes sense. And there are also some people who kind of say that it's almost like the astral, so it's almost like all over the place. There can be all kinds of energies just floating around. It can be almost a little bit chaotic at times, and at times, yes, I would agree with that. However, personally, I find that from my experience, it is mostly like this very mentally stimulating and mentally active place. Though that doesn't mean that other energies, like emotional energies or just like in general human energies, or even artificial intelligence, right? Like obviously those energies also just float around in the internet. It's just a thing. There can be anything and everything really there. And so we definitely want to take breaks from not just social media, but also consuming content at times. Like I spoke about this recently in one of my live streams. I think it was my energy hygiene, or yeah, I think it was the energy hygiene video where I spoke about this, where I did a bit of a content detox. So I've been doing this like every now and then since that. So there have been like days when I haven't watched any videos, and sometimes I have watched some, of course. Like it hasn't been like a continuous like a week or 2 weeks of that, but I'm not gonna lie, that would be good though. It would be nice if I could do that. um, but there was like several days that I did this, and it just brought a lot more clarity into my headspace, and it gives like a lot more time into your day. So that's like a practical, very good side of it, right? And then it also allows us to be a bit more creative, right? Because we're having more of this energy to really explore what is really arising within us, and we're not having that constant stimuli within our nervous system and within our minds, and within our energy fields, right? Because when we take a good break from social media, we're not like putting all of this energy out there as we browse the internet and all of that, and we're also not necessarily taking on that much, because we can, especially those of you that are highly empathic, those of you that are highly sensitive, those of you who are really sensitive to energy, you might be feeling and picking up a lot of this collective energy simply from browsing the internet, right? Simply from opening up your Instagram or your Facebook or your YouTube. You might be just picking up all of these energies from all of these people, because like we are connected to so many more people these days due to the internet and social media. and all of this, right? So that's another good reason to every now and then take a little break from social media, whether it's just one day, whether it's just half a day, you know, those little breaks that we can take from browsing and from scrolling, making sure that we don't get into that scroll hole too often. And again, like nobody's perfect, so if that happens every now and then, don't blame yourself, right? Our brains just love the stimulation, right? Our brains are sort of easily addicted and hooked into that stuff. So if that happens sometimes, don't beat yourself up. Just remember that you can also take a break from it, right? That you can shift that momentum at any moment, at any day, in any minute, any hour, whatever, right? You can make that change at any point in your life, and everything is possible for each and every one of us. Okay, and then interesting thing, energetics of different platforms, which in my mind map haven't written much more about that. So I do find that different platforms do have different energies, and I find that we do feel drawn to different platforms because of this fact, partially. And of course there's the other side, which is like just the media itself that is the sort of main star on each platform. So I tend to really like YouTube for the most part, personally, because it is video, and video is something that I just find the most sort of pleasant to consume. But there's also certain depth that comes with YouTube. Like it's not so superficial and sort of like, even though there are shorts, yes, there are shorts, and then there's TikTok, of course, and I do quite like TikTok, but I do find that TikTok energetically is a little bit more intense. So I do have to kind of take breaks from TikTok a little bit more often than YouTube. Uh, yeah, I don't know why, but I just kind of feel like YouTube is a little bit more chill, and people tend to be more, I would say, more of uh, the kinds to learn. I sort of almost feel like people come here most often to learn things and to find solutions, for example. But TikTok is a lot more fast paced. That's probably also, why I sometimes need to take some breaks from there, because it's a lot more fast paced energy. Um, and I do find that X is also kind of like a fast paced energy. It's quite fast. It's quite it's sort of, a little bit more intense. But of course, these days, it's just personally, this is just my opinion. It's kind of just gone worse, right? It's not necessarily better than it was before. Um, but that's again just my opinion, and I'm kind of really detached from that platform. I really don't post there at all. So uh, I used to enjoy it. I used to enjoy it like 10 years ago. Like there was something enjoyable about Twitter 10 years ago, but uh, over the say the last few years, not so much. Um, and Instagram, I find with Instagram's energy, of course, it is a very photo heavy platform. Even though they have tried to kind of move more into the video side of things, and I mean, of course there's still like lots more videos these days on that platform. um, but I don't know, like for me, Instagram, especially recently in the recent years, it has felt a bit more superficial. And again, this is just my sort of perspective, and I believe this partially because the posts cannot be that long over there, so then you're sort of forced to really shorten the amount of stuff that you put on there. So there's not that much room for, say, nuance and this very expansive discussion. So it's kind of on the same boat with Twitter for when it comes to the sort of pace, if that makes sense. And that's also one of the reasons why I don't really post there that much either. And like, I think the last time I posted there was maybe in January. So I'm sometimes very inactive on my social medias, and that's, well, not inactive as in not using it at all, but you know, I sort of I find myself easily, you know, overwhelmed, I guess, with all of the, very fast paced energy that is going on there. And when it comes to, say, Facebook, I find that also, Facebook also has its, pros and cons. Um, Personally, I've liked it because I can write much longer posts, but then, like, energetically, um, there can be similar problems as with Twitter, energetically, because it can also be sometimes a little bit intense. People are very conversational there, I find. And I do find that it is also a place where you can actually have like connections with people. I believe that's one of the benefits of that, because there's also these groups and everything where you can, of course, speak to and connect with people that may be interested in the same things as you, or perhaps have similar missions. So I do find that these are some of the factors that contribute to the energetics of each of these social media platforms. And then, of course, there's all of these other internet things. So, our like websites, we can encode those with energies, encode it with light, encode it with love, all of the things that we want to put there. And we can create those as almost also like energetic containers for whichever our intentions are. And so we do want to make sure, of course, that our intentions are coming from an informed place, and and um, and we want to make sure that it is again coming from like a pure place, like a pure intention, if that makes sense. Um, hmm, what shall we go into next? I also wrote this little note here on, which you probably heard before, when people say that something stays on the internet forever, which is most likely, it is very much true. Like, it can sometimes be quite hard to completely remove something from the internet, because sometimes people do download the stuff, or they take screenshots of the stuff that gets put there. And so what does this mean energetically? This calls our attention to what we want our uh, energetic footprint to be on the internet. So, what kind of energetic footprint do we want to leave on the internet? Let's be more conscious of that. And it does mean also that it is possible that there's like these fractals from our past just hanging around into internet because it wasn't fully deleted. So we should also be very conscious of what we keep on the internet, and just regularly kind of go through the archives and kind of see, okay, what's here? Is there anything here that I don't want to be here anymore? And just delete it. And as we know, is that a guarantee that it will be deleted? Who knows? Who really knows at this point? Uh, and another question is, of course, is social media a good way to archive um, your, for example, your pictures, your files? I'm a little bit, skeptical of that, but I can understand why people do that. I can understand why people, archive their stuff on the internet, because then they don't have to have them on their laptop, on their phone, or whatever device that they have. But then there's this other thing. These social media platforms, even though they have stabilized themselves into our everyday life, they can still just be wiped out, at any moment, really. Um, I mean, I do remember even on Facebook, there's like this thing where they're going to like delete live videos that are older than a certain time. So we'll just all have to download them before like June 30th or something. So if you didn't know that, now you know. So if you've done any lives that are like very old and you wanna keep them, then you can download them if you want to keep them, you know. And so that's a good thing to kind of remember. Sometimes these things, you know, just get they can get still randomly deleted by the platform, right? Because the platform owns, technically the platform is what is then hosting it, right? They own their own platform. um, and even though there are ways we can always like sort of like, of course we always have like the copyright to everything and stuff, but the good thing here, the one thing here to remember is that when we have our own sort of place where we can put these files, then they are like ours. We don't have to worry about them, you know, just disappearing or vanishing. So that's just something to consider, something to think about. And now, if you are watching, if you have anything to ask or anything to add, do you have your own experiences that you want to share? Feel free to put those experiences and thoughts in the comments. Oh, hello, Gardner. Did you see the Eurovision show, Dragon Portals and Vortices? Not just nice. Yes. Oh my God. I love that. I freaking loved the song Gaia. That was just the best. Okay. I fucking love that because uh, I think, you know, partially because, you know, of course, it was all about the planet Earth and everything. But I also thought that the singer kind of reminded me of a snake, so that was why I really liked that one. But yeah, there was a lot of good stuff on the show. So yeah, that's an interesting interesting comment for this conversation. But I do, yeah, those, of course, all of those kind of send us different energies as well. We can feel those energies from those videos. And so that's a interesting side note. What was your favorite, if I may ask, Gardener? Which one did you like the most? I also liked the one, I think it was it, uh, I think it might have been Lithuania? No, it wasn't. It was the one where they were almost like water nymphs. It was also kind of like with a little bit of like pagan influence, it seemed. That was also an interesting one. And I mean, obviously, of course, I love Erika Wigman because I am also from Finland. So of course, I love her, and of course, the queer representation, always we love them. And like, if you have any other questions about this topic, feel free to ask. This is a little bit shorter today, and that's totally okay though, because I have been very tired today. But I wanted to still speak about this because it is such a fascinating topic. Like, I have been on the internet for more than 12 years, like 12 and a half years, I think, at this point. So I have had my time to like really sort of think about this and to really, really sort of digest things. And like, yeah, some of the newer platforms, like Threads and Blue Sky. I do have accounts on there, but I just haven't got to use them, right? Because I've just been using much more of my energy for like this long form stuff and all of the other kinds of things. So like my newsletter, that's where I tend to post like a lot more often. Um, do you sense if something is mad with AI? Hmm, can you clarify a little bit what you mean by that? Like, do you mean AI in general, or do you mean something specific? Oh, made with AI. Sometimes, right? Sometimes I kind of when I, for example, when I saw this post just I think a couple of days ago in a group that like it was very clearly it was a sales pitch, but it looked very much like it was written by AI because it had this very almost like hollow format. Almost didn't feel like it was completely made by the person who posted it. Maybe perhaps some parts of it were made by them, but not completely. So sometimes, yes, I can feel it, and sometimes I should know it by the look of it because all of the AI artwork just looks all the same. Like it just looks all the same. It doesn't really have the same kind of originality as handmade art or even digital art. It just doesn't have the same touch. And part of this is also because I am a visual artisan. I graduated from art school, so like I already kind of know what art looks like. Like I can tell the difference, um, because I've done it by hand, and then like I've also done it digitally, right, without the AI stuff. So usually yes, and the yeah, of course, yeah. When it comes to music, I think it's also possible to tell that. But then there is that, the sense for when it comes to sensing it. Yeah, it doesn't. It usually doesn't have the same kind of strong soul essence there as certain, things that aren't made with AI. So that's just kind of my thoughts on that and kind of my experiences. Did you see that? Because just what I saw on my end, it looked like my camera kind of glitched, so that was weird. Sure if it happened also on everyone else's end. If you also saw that, but I did. And the sun is quite literally shining on me right now. It's actually really nice that it's so like warm and sunny still at this time of the day. But yes, uh, keep on shining. Yes, hell yeah, I will keep on shining. But yeah, I think that about wraps this up. And of course, if you have any questions afterwards, because like I went through this quite fast, so it's possible that this has brought up a lot of thoughts, feelings, perspectives. So if there is anything else like afterwards that you want to ask, maybe you watch the replay and then you get more questions, more ideas and thoughts, you can leave them in the comments below. And Gardner says, thank you for the teaching and sharings. You are welcome. Thank you for allowing me to teach here and share all of this experience with you. It is my pleasure. And for anyone who might be new to the channel, if you're new and you're watching, subscribe for more. I will be having another live stream next week, next Monday, but I'm doing it in the morning instead. I'm just trying out something new. I'm trying to see if that would be different, and if it would be maybe easier for the flow of my day, perhaps. So I will do it at 11 a.m. Helsinki time, Monday. So that will be all about healing abilities, and I will schedule that sometime here very soon, so that it will be all ready to go. So, big thanks to each and every one of you who joined today live. If you really like this live stream, give it a thumbs up, and I will see you next time. Okay, bye.